that we are meant to be. You say nothing at all when we meet, yet somehow I know your history. Oh, come what may, I'm ready. Picture frames, lavender and pain, they all live here within this romance. I get the chance to stop the run and be the lucky one. Odd thoughts and some dusty dreams, and we seem to find common ground.
Good morning, everyone. As you can tell, if you haven't caught up, I am not in Colorado anymore. I don't know if the shorts gave it away or this foggy lake here, but I am back in Florida. More on that later. But for now, you can tell what I'm trying to shoot here is a bit too foggy. I came out here this morning to try to capture some of this fog, but it's too thick, the fog, and there's not enough light coming through at the moment. And for my keen-eyed viewers, maybe you recognize this tree in the background. I actually made a video about it that you can see here, and it won an award that I'll put on the screen now for that photo. And I took that 5 years ago with my Canon 6D, actually. So, let's see, that's a 10-year-old camera at this point. So I thought I would come out here and see if I could capture it again. Still a bit too foggy right now. We're gonna wait around for those conditions to get a little bit better and see if there's any color left on that little cypress tree. I absolutely love the way that it looks, and it actually looks like there's more leaves still left on it than when I took it 5 years ago. But what this episode is going to be about is the secret, or what I've learned or what I've discovered about becoming a successful landscape photographer, or just finding success in your portfolio. Well, more on that later. Gonna take a few more shots and see where the morning takes us, so stay tuned.
Guess everyone's got their own sound. I never cared much about fitting in, what's right or a sin. But as you stand before me, I give in.
Okay, so something I just noticed as the fog was clearing is that there's actually a bird at the top of the tree right now. And for what I can tell, there is color still left on the tree. Absolutely beautiful morning. I'm hoping I can capture a little bit of the bird in the tree at the top with this perfect reflection before either this water starts moving or the fog rolls out too much, because there is a little bit of land behind the tree. When there's not enough fog, then all you do is see that land. But if there is enough fog, it kind of creates separation between the tree and the land. It's the only way this shot works, because I've taken it other times and it doesn't look anything near as good as this. Oh man, absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna keep taking some shots.
Picture frames, lavender and pain, they all live here within this romance. I get the chance to stop the run and be the lucky one. Picture frames, lavender and pain, they all live here within this romance. I get the chance to stop the run and be the lucky one. Just tell me I belong. That I'm the lucky one. I'm your chosen one.
All right, so you would think with the sun coming up that the fog would clear out a little bit, but we are over an hour past sunrise, and the fog has just gotten thicker. But I did find a new composition that I'm really excited for, where I put the tree in front of this dead tree, and it creates this really cool symmetrical pattern. But if there's not enough separation between that foreground tree and the dead tree in the background, it just doesn't work, because the foliage just kind of bleeds into one another. So I'm curious if the shots that I took, which I'll show you when I'm done talking, if any of them worked. The light wasn't great. I would love to come back and try to get some of these fogging conditions again, which I'm going to try to do. But for now, we're going to talk about what it means, or the tool, or the secret, or whatever word, keyword you want to use, clickbait, of finding success as a landscape photographer. And it's something I've been thinking about a lot right here, standing right here. So if you remember, I took this shot 5 years ago, like I said before, and it's coming back to this spot and taking the same photo, or just trying to wait around and try to capture this photo in a different way, that it got me thinking a lot about success as a photographer. Now, I've talked about success on this channel a lot. You can watch a whole video on it here. And success can be defined in many different ways. We could define success as, well, you could define success as today I woke up and went and watched sunrise. I had a successful day. Or maybe you took a photo. Or maybe you took a photo that you really enjoy. Or success could be the amount of monetary gain you're getting from your investment into your time of shooting photography. There are a ton of ways to define success. But for right now, the way I'm defining success here is you feeling good about your portfolio, you feeling good about your own work, or me feeling good about my own work. That's how I'm defining success. So you would be a successful photographer if you looked at your work and thought, I take good photos and I'm glad I'm doing this and I'm proud of myself as a landscape photographer. Or you might feel unsuccessful that when you look at your portfolio or you look at your work, you don't feel like you're good enough, or you're not doing enough, or you're not quite there, or you're still striving to get better. Well, you should always strive to get better, but I think you know what I mean. So that's how we're talking about success today. So the secret is just volume, which, come on, man, don't bite me.
Hey, have you ever wanted to learn photo editing but struggled in finding the right path? Well, I recently released my Lightroom editing companion, which will help you create a more guided and productive workflow within your editing. All right, so the first actual setting we're going to use is the white balance and profile. All this is going to do is set my color profile to Adobe Landscape and set my white balance. Now, just like I was saying before, if you don't know about white balance, you can come in here to the companion. You can tell exactly what this preset is doing, and then you can watch this video that explains what white balance is at depth. If you want more information, check out the link down below the like button after you're finished with this video. Speaking of, let's get back to this video.
The secret is just volume, which I know is a boring answer and I know it's cliche, but hear me out for a second. So standing here, it made me realize just how often, or the lack thereof, that I shot when I was just shooting landscape photos as a hobbyist. But then I would compare myself to all of these people that I looked up to that were shooting all of the time, that had been shooting for years at that point. So here's a prime example, is that in the last year, I have probably taken more photos as a full-time landscape photographer in this year than I did my entire 10 years of being a hobbyist, where I was only doing it when I traveled on trips. So I lived here in Tallahassee for 30 years almost. I would come to spots like this every once in a while, but the reality is the conditions are rarely like this. It's only in the winter, winter as I'm out here in shorts in December, but there's so few and far between that I would find myself really only taking photos when I went on trips. That meant maybe 2 to 3 times a year, I would go on 5-day trips, 7-day trips, and try to shoot as much as I possibly could on those trips. And that was it. That was all the work I had for 1 year. And then I would work on those photos, and I would look at them and I would go, why don't I have as many? Why are these not as good as all of these people that I look up to, even though I'm dedicating what I think is a large amount of time to this hobby? And the reality is, once I started doing it full time, and once I started living on the road, eating and breathing and shooting photography all the time, that's when it clicked that it's not necessarily about taking spectacular photos every time. It's just about taking a lot of photos. I mean, obviously you have to be good at what you do, you have to know what you're doing, you have to be some caliber of knowing how to shoot and taking good photos, but I bet a lot of you watching do meet that requirement. And the reality is, you just don't shoot nearly as much as all of the people that you compare yourself to. And that famous quote that says, comparison is the thief of joy. I don't remember who said it. I'll put it on the screen now. But comparison is the thief of joy rings so true in this case. So if you're feeling unsuccessful and you want to find success in landscape photography, it's just volume. And I know that that's not an answer that many of you can be like, okay, well, let me just completely rechange my life so that I can take more photos. But at the end of the day, what the thing that you should do is rewire your brain to remember that you can't possibly match the people that you compare yourself to or look at or get inspired by, because they're out there taking photos for a living. They're out there taking photos all the time. I mean, there was weeks where I took photos every single day. I was in spots like Alaska, or the mountains of Colorado, or the swamps of Tallahassee, shooting photos as much as I could. If you look at success by shaping and changing your definition of success, I do think that right now you could change and go from looking at your portfolio and feeling unsuccessful to looking at your portfolio and feeling successful when you realize that it's just a volume game, that you just can't take as many photos as all of the people out there that inspire you. So, little food for thought this morning. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you're enjoying this video. As always, if you liked it, you can give it a like. I don't think I'm done yet though. I might be done this morning, but we're definitely gonna shoot either another sunrise in this video or something along those lines. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna wait around a little bit longer since I'm out here and see if some of this fog clears, even though it is pretty bright out here, but still pretty foggy. Later.
Tossed in like a castaway, what we wanted, not what we thought.
Good morning, everyone. I'm back out here to try to capture this cypress tree in the fog. As you can tell, there is no fog, and there's also no light. The sun is up, it is just gray and overcast. And I don't think we're gonna get this shot that we wanted this year. A lot of the color is gone from that cypress, and I think that opportunity has passed, and we'll probably have to wait till next year to see it again. But while I'm out here, I am shooting a little bit of this foliage behind me. I'm not entirely sure it's gonna work. It's very flat, there's no separation between what I'm shooting. But the way the colors were looking in this overcast gray light looked pretty good. But again, we'll have to wait and see until I get on the computer. So I'm gonna keep taking some shots. I'll show those to you when I'm done talking or shooting some B-roll. And I might stick around to try to find some wildlife. But other than that, I don't think it's gonna get very good this morning for any landscape photography with light. So I'm gonna try to make the best of it. We got some birds going around over here that you can't see because it's too blurry, but yeah.
What we wanted, not what we thought we wanted. Tossed in, you couldn't see it coming. What we needed, not what we thought we needed. Don't give up, don't give in. Waiting patiently from where riches flow. My heart is sure to follow. Over here, you can see much clearer what you want.